Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. It's always a pleasure to have back in the studio with us our friends from the downtown San Diego Lions Club making a return appearance is Jonathan Mosier. Am I pronouncing your name correct?
Jonathan Mosier's right. I go by John, though.
Okay, you go by John, not Dr. Mosier?
I'm afraid not.
Very good, okay. Very good. So, John, good to see you again. Congratulations in your new role as president, joined by my colleague, Isha Walia. She is our Curiosity Shipper, my guest co-host. And Isha, I think you have a question for John right out of the gate.
Yeah, tell us about the mission of your organization.
The Downtown Lions Club we've been around now for 100 years. And our motto, the Lions motto, is we serve. So our mission is to serve the communities, our community, the San Diego community, in ways that will impact lives in a positive way.
You've been involved for how long?
I've been a member since 2003.
Okay.
So,
Right. And the organization is pretty young. How old is it now?
We just turned 100. So
I think that's
we're a very spry 100.
You are
spry and energetic.
Yes. You guys have been doing some great things and so forth. I know Isha's got some more questions for you.
Yeah, tell us about your ongoing partnership with the Shiley Eye Institute.
The Lions historically have been involved with sight and hearing issues since the 1920s. It was Helen Keller, and as a matter of fact,
right,
who challenged the Lions to become what she called the Knights of the Blind. So the challenges that blind folks face and eye health, vision health,
right,
has been a focus of the Lions since their inception, really. And we recently partnered with the Shiley Eye Center to establish what's called the Genetic Research Biobank, San Diego Lions Biobank, with the Shiley Eye Center, where the money that we've used will go toward taking samples and for people who have eye disease and analyzing that. So it really has the potential not only to help the people who are now patients of the Shiley Eye Center, but the research that's going to be done will be able to help many, many people in the future, because you can predict eye disease by genetics, if you know, and the earlier one intervenes in someone known to be prone to eye disease, the less likely it is that eye disease will progress in a way that leads to blindness.
You know, it's interesting because when you think about this, and I think a lot of people think about this, it's in your guys' wheelhouse, focusing on the blind and, vision aspect of it. But when you talk to people, periodically, would you rather lose your hearing or your eyesight? And then overwhelmingly, I can deal with losing my hearing, but I can never deal with losing my eyesight. Is that something that is growing? Are eye issues and eyesight issues becoming more prevalent? Obviously, with genetics, it's genetics, due to the environment, or not really, or we don't know.
I wouldn't say. I think there are better treatments now than there have been in the past.
Right.
But there's always going to be sight issues that come up. I mean, people who are congenitally blind, and then people who blindness comes to later in life for some reason.
Right.
And that is a particularly significant challenge. For instance, our Lions Club, the history of us with in the sight area.
Right.
Before World War II, they invented the Braille writer, which was a monumental step forward.
Sure.
Because blind people could then type up to 30 words a minute with a Braille writer. It was a monumental change in the way blind people communicated. And the Lions in San Diego were instrumental in procuring the writers and distributing them to people who would not otherwise be able to afford them. And then comes World War II. And after the war, the sight issues really came to the fore with people who had been blinded during the war. So that kind of initiated a renaissance in the way blind people were treated and in the way that they were able to communicate with others. And as you may know, we have the Lions Optometric Clinic up in Balboa Park that's associated with the Blind Community Center up there, the Blind Recreation Center. That's been a Lions project from the get-go. So we're really proud of what we've been able to do to help people who have issues with vision impairment.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. We're chatting with John Mosier. He is the president of the Downtown San Diego Lions Club. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year, broadcast from the beautiful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. And Mission Fed for 60 years has been doing just spectacular things in our community, from education to environment to the arts and so forth. I'm joined by my friend, Isha Walia. She'll be an incoming junior at Northeastern University. She's a curiosity shipper, doing her internship, so to speak, at Cloudcast Media, but she's been guest co-hosting and will continue to do so for the next 4 weeks. Isha, I know you have another question for John.
Yeah, what is the Lions Manor, and how do you plan to help create more affordable housing for seniors and the disabled?
Lions Manor is our building downtown at 4th and Market. And I was just chatting with someone about this the other day. This is kind of an example of how the Lions Club works. Is all of a sudden there was somebody who he was the good idea fairy and said, you know something, there's really a need for housing downtown for senior citizens and disabled folks. There's a paucity of housing downtown. What could we do about that? So we have one guy who's the good idea fairy, and then you have a number of members of the club who happen to have expertise in different areas, in finance and working with government. I was talking with someone the other day. There happened to be one guy who was had an in with what was called, I think, the Community Develop. CCD is the acronym, and CCD's in the business of community development.
That's right.
So there was one guy, and one guy had an in, and he was able to work through CCD with the city to get the land grant for the land, and then somebody had a little bit of expertise in how to work with government to secure government funding, and we eventually got a partnership going with the center, or the Housing and Urban Development Department. And from the time we broke ground until the time the first resident moved in was about 10 years. And finally that facility is completed, and it's always full. We have a waiting list a mile long.
Yeah.
Housing is something we're very interested in. And we're looking right now at trying to partner again with the community on another project for housing in San Diego, because as all of us know who walk the streets of San Diego, there's a dire need for affordable housing in the city of San Diego.
Well, and that's what makes you guys just so venerable. Listen, you haven't been being in a business for 100 years if you're not doing great stuff, and sustainability, to say the least. I mean, the things you work on, sound so obvious, but it's true. It's so practical, whether it's with, a site or whether it's with housing. Are you kidding me? Especially in San Diego, not the most inexpensive place to live, as you well know. And just to talk a little bit about this, you guys are on top of your game. It is important for you to take a look at those relevant causes. Are you guys always getting together and chatting about those things as a board?
Well, we get together a couple times a month as a club for a general meeting, and then people kind of keep up with what's happening in the club at those general meetings. But then we have everyone who is a member of the Lions Club is expected to serve on one of our committees. That is, they do the nuts and bolts work of accomplishing the things we do to help the community. And it really is kind of remarkable is when you get a group of people together, I don't want to say it's magic, but it always seems like you have the right mix of people with the right expertise to get things done. That's why it's so important for us to have, for the lack of a better word, a diverse membership
100%.
in skills and background. And the other thing about the diverse membership is you never know when the good idea fairy is going to land on somebody's shoulder and come up with an idea that all of a sudden people start nodding their heads and say, yeah, why don't we try that?
Yeah. Well, see, it takes a variety of things on it. We come back from break. I want to talk more about that issue, which is so important, John. Organizations like the Lions Club, and there's some, wonderful organizations in San Diego County and all big, metros, that area. But you need the people that are saying, we can do this. And you said something that is so important. I mean, it's so obvious, but as humans, sometimes we don't see things that are right in front of our face, right? And then as when you row in the same direction, it's amazing how fast you can get there and how well you can get there and what you can accomplish. It sounds obvious. It's amazing how many people don't do that.
We just got to have enough people to man all the oars.
Yeah, exactly. When we come back from break, we're going to continue the conversation with John Mosier. He's the president of the Downtown San Diego Lions Club. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, broadcast in these wonderful Mission Fed studios in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed being a great community leader for 60 years, joined by my guest co-host, Isha Walia. I know Isha's got a whole bunch of more questions for you. We come back after this short message.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast here, broadcast by Mission Fed Credit Union. Mission Fed doing great things in San Diego for more than 60 years. Joined by John Mosier. He's the president of the Downtown San Diego Lions Club. And my guest co-host, Isha Walia. We were talking about all the things that you folks you accomplish. We're going to talk more about that aspect of it, engaging with corporations and so forth. We want to talk about your luncheons before we end the interview as well. But Isha, I know you have a question for John.
Yeah, shifting gears a little, tell us more about your commitment to serving the San Diego youth.
We have a number. If I could characterize the three areas of focus we have, one is the housing issue that
Right.
we've spoken about. Another is site nearing. And then the third major area of our interest, I think, is in the development of youth. We have a number of programs that are specifically designed to lift up youth who, for the lack of a better word, are marginalized or
Underrepresented.
I would say that's a good way to put it. We just completed Camp Jack. We send kids to camp every year out in Whispering Winds. We had a wonderful group of campers this year, and the video of these kids before they leave, what their faces look like, and when they come back, what their faces look like, tells the story of how camping for kids who've never really been outdoors, never caught a fish on a line, never taken a hike in the trees, it's a life changer for those kids.
Well, and it's something, I think Isha's heard us say this in some of the shows she's guest host before. It's never lost on us here on our Spotlight show now 17 years down the road, is how many kids living in San Diego County have never been to a lake, have never thrown a line in to catch a fish, have never been to the mountains. People go, well, how's that even possible? Oh, it's possible. They haven't been to the beach. They haven't gotten all this aspect of it. And you've opened up a world to them, and we all know this, that, listen, there's learning that goes on in the classroom, then there's learning that goes on in the broader classroom, and that's outside. These kids must be tough to wipe that smile off their face, huh, John?
Well, yeah, the really fun things. I talked to the camp director up there, and there are always people are nominated to become part of the program by parents or schools. There are a number of ways they can be nominated,
Sure.
And there's always a few of the kids who are too cool for camp. It's like this is real. No, I'm not. This isn't for me. And the camp director at Whispering Winds I talked to said it takes us about a day, and these kids who came in and they were too cool for everybody are now they're part of the team and they're smiling and laughing and having a great time, and they've left that too cool guy behind and become part of a social experience that they'll remember for their whole life.
And they will remember their whole life. Talk a little bit about, you folks do luncheons and all that business, and you engage with the businesses, and you don't have to be, can anyone go to your luncheons?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
We welcome guests. We love to have guests come, and we do have a terrific lineup of speakers. Just our last Tuesday meeting, we had a speaker from an organization called Generate Hope, that works with young women who've been taken out of the sex trafficking industry.
Right.
We got a great background on the scope of that problem in San Diego, but we also got a great background on how you solve the problem of getting people out and getting them transitioned back into a more normal way of life. And those are the kind of things that you're not going to hear generally unless you come to a presentation by someone who's expert in that area.
Right. We want to sort of stay on that subject a lot. Most people don't realize, for worse, San Diego is sort of a hotbed for trafficking. And they have no clue. They just think we're just a nice little sleepy beach town and that's it. That is not true.
When the highlight that we got from the speaker last week too is, there's a lot of interest now because of that movie that's out, The Sound of Freedom.
Right.
The one criticism of that movie, which I think is pretty valid, is you may come away from that thinking that this is a problem in third world countries, and
no,
and it is definitely not.
It's here. It's here.
It's our daughters in our schools.
That's right.
Being approached and enticed into this industry
as young as middle school and elementary.
Yeah,
it's crazy on that. So how do they? If people want to go and hear some of these lectures, do they go to your website? How does that go?
Yes, if you visit our website at SanDiegoLions.org. And you can send us an email there and say, I'd like to join you for a Tuesday meeting. One of our Lions will contact you and host you for that event, and we can introduce ourselves, and you can get an idea of what we're doing in the community.
Yeah, exactly, Isha.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about your accomplishments. I know that you guys have a lot since you've been around for over 100 years.
Well, one of the things I was just going over our history with some of the folks in the club. One of our most our signature efforts is the Lions baseball tournament, which it was actually started by Mike Morrow, who was Ted Williams' baseball coach
at Hoover.
At Hoover High, I think.
Right.
And what he noticed was every year during spring break, the kids would fall off. They didn't want to come to practice, and it was as they spun up for the high school baseball season. Right. There was this big void there. So Mike decided that it would be a good idea to host a tournament to keep the kids engaged during spring break, and we're still doing it these many years later. And the high schools, I got a pat on the back for all the San Diego high schools that help us stage that event, because it is a major undertaking. We're up to I think 80 teams last year, and the Lions Club becomes Baseball Central. It's really an interesting thing to see because you have people who don't know anything about baseball or the tournament making phone calls and trying to figure out who's in the next bracket, and it's just great fun.
Well, it literally is the nation's, probably most revered, high school baseball tournament, and got to do a shout out to my longtime friend and colleague, just retired Judge Peter Gallagher, who's been the tournament director, and how he does this. My goodness, he's and John knows it better than anybody. Juggles 4 billion things. If you look at the Hall of Fame baseball players, like Cooperstown players, okay, that have come through this tournament, and the pros that are playing now that have played in this tournament, it is a who's who for 50 years, is it not?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And there's nothing more fun than on the championship days, one of our Lions will go out to each one of the fields to award the championship trophy in each bracket, and the parents and the coaches are so grateful for this opportunity to compete like this, kind of in the center of their baseball season, because it's really a time for them to kind of hone their teams. Mm-hmm. And the competition is really friendly fun because it's a tournament. It's not CIF. It's
right.
But the kids have just a great time.
Well, and talk about what it does for the economy of San Diego. Aren't these teams coming from everywhere?
Yeah, we have teams coming in from all over the country.
Exactly. Wow. So they're in hotel rooms, they're eating in restaurants and all that business. Before we end the interview here, John, and we'd love to have you back on numerous times because you got so much great content to share. Talk a little about the Lions Club Scholarship Fund.
Well, that's another way we serve youth. We've been doing the scholarship fund for decades now, and we provide scholarships from say $2,000 to $3,000 for students in San Diego who are going on to secondary education. In many cases, the first student in their family that might be attending higher education. So that and our student speaker contests are two of the things we try to do to reach the youth of San Diego in a positive way, and also inspire them to take up community service when they move into the workforce, which I think is one of our biggest challenges today.
100%. And we all know that things are done by habit. You watch your parents read, you'll read. You want your parents to contribute in society, whether they're volunteering to do X, Y, and Z, you'll do the same on this. And before we turn it over to Isha for a final question, John, promise me you'll be back on and maybe bring in a student or whomever, could be anybody, that has either benefited from what you've done with the Shiley Eye, clinic or whatever, or with the scholarships. It's always great to have somebody that has benefited from what you're doing. Does that make sense?
I'd be happy to do that.
Consider that done. Isha, I know you got another question.
Yeah, how can our listeners support you?
Well, we're really interested in meeting you, and what we'd like is for you to come and attend one of our meetings here, one of our speaker programs, and see what we're doing in the community. I think one of the things, we do a number of things very well. One of the things we haven't done as well as we might is inspire young people to get involved in community service, which to me, not only they can contribute to what we do, but you're a young person. The reports of loneliness among
you talking to me or talking to Isha?
I think I'm talking to Isha here. But young people are looking for purpose, and they're looking to connect personally with people and get away from the stinking smartphone for a while. And becoming part of an organization that serves the community. There's no better way to meet great people than to meet people who are dedicated to serving their community.
Yeah. Do you have a luncheon coming up soon?
Our next luncheon is in, let's say, we just had one Tuesday. It's a week from last Tuesday.
So, here I am. I'm doing this to Isha. She's probably going to be the last time she'll ever be on my show. But I'm volunteering her for stuff. She's actually going to be visiting the Writing Above Disability folks. I think she's going to do that, correct?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to go.
You should go to a luncheon.
We'd love to have you at one of our luncheons.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
You're in town through the 1st of September. Maybe you can have Sean Curry of C3 Communications tee you up for that. How's that sound?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Okay,
We just one of our recent
there.
meetings was addressing the issue of housing for folks with disabilities, and so you get some good information at our meetings.
that sounds
Oh,
good.
awesome.
Very good. One other great job, Isha. Thank you so much for being a co-host. John, it's good seeing you again. We're going to look forward to having you and some of the folks that have benefited from the Lions Club on in another edition of our show sooner than later, if that's okay with you. And wishing you and all your great friends in Lions Club nothing but good success.
I'd love to be back, and my compliments to you for mentoring someone new. And
I think Isha's mentoring me. So, but it's all good. It works well. No, we're honored to have folks like Isha on here because it's something she's going to take back to Northeastern University and grow in this aspect of it. She can put on her resume that she was a co-host of the nation's longest running community podcast. Not bad, huh?
not bad at all.
Very, very good. John Mosier, good seeing you again.
Thanks so much.
You bet. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 17th year. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, continuing doing wonderful things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.